Buenos dias, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well, blessed, and enjoying family. And as always, thank you, everyone, for you guys' words, prayers, and your amazing support. From the Cora, se los agradezco. Now, on this one, I want to touch a little bit on that angle of my message that I talk about how there's certain camaradas or older vatos that get out. And instead of getting out and giving the proper clecha to the ones they're supposed to be loyal to, faithful to, which is their neighborhood homies, right? They mislead them, or at times, as you guys would hear in this one, they use them for their benefit and for the benefit of a pili, just because there's family ties. And of course, the pili, when it comes down to that, will cover up both eyes and just basically, yeah, see. But when things hit the fan, se lavan las manos, right? But anyways, for this, I want to take you back, to reception. When we were in reception, there was a camarada from Quiet Village. He was older. He was, he was white, but, nevertheless, he was a camarada. At this time, he was one of those camaradas, that real high power, even with his speech, right? He was a skinny, well, not skinny, but you know what I'm trying to say. But he had a real deep voice, big brocha and slick hair. At this time, I'm really wet behind my ears, right? I don't know names. I don't know which pilis who was what, nothing. It's just since he got there, he started pressing on that he was Güero Shai's primo. And as I later came to came to see who Güero Shai was and actually got to see pictures of him, you guys were, I ain't lying to you, it was like you were seeing Güero Shai in a younger version, with the exception that Capone, from all the tags he had a QV on his neck, and on his right side, the only tags he had was SUR all the way down. But anyways, when he was there, he had gotten busted. I believe he was in Solano or Fairfield. I'm not sure. But anyways, he got busted up there, so he was going through reception and Quilmas. But while he was there, from the moment he got there, he tried pushing his weight around, right? Basically trying to get Vatos to break him off with canteen and other things. And at this time, this is before Raul came out, right? But when this started happening, of course, the homies from Northern Cal and other camaradas that were there from all over Califas, they were like, they ain't no llavero. We don't break nobody off. And Primo actually told him, what are you bringing to the table to even break you off? He just wanted to earn under the fact that he will Güero Shai's Primo, right? And at all times he was like, you guys get called here, we're in reception. Either you get here with appeal stating you got this, or it's all hearsay, right? It was just, we're talking about 97 Quilmas, not most of the camaradas from up north. We weren't really put up on señores like I stated before, right? Afterwards, when Raul actually came out and he started running things, he actually confirmed that, yeah, that was Shai's primo. But needless to say, he can't get to a spot just on palabra. I got this, right? And Raul checked on it on the low and he verified, so everything clear. But again, nothing said that he was giving Wilmas, right? So, anyways, not to concentrate on this. Time flies, and when I was in Ironwood again, Capone was, I believe, C Yard. Yeah, he was on C Yard, right? It's where GQ was that, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, I'm not sure if he had C yard or what it was, but I know that people were hitting and he was collecting and it was being sent to La Caja of Shy. Now, why I know this is because eventually he will make his way to A yard. And once he made his way to A yard, of course, now it was different because I was holding the grass for T. So he has to answer up the proper way. It wasn't no more, I'm so and so, I could care less, right? But again, you have to move in cautious when it comes to a family member because politics are like that, they'll twist them up to get your butt, even if there's nothing wrong in your doings. So anyways, I did, I ran it to the lady on the streets for tea and I told him and everything checked back. Everything checked back. But when I say this, I say like real humble. Homeboy was a headache. I mean, just cause he was Shy's primo, he wanted action at everything. He wanted people whacked. I mean, in the sense that if you have a yard, you can't dismiss someone like this, right? For the fact that who his family member is. So when he uprises all this homeboy, he has backtracked. You gotta check him and whack him before he splits. I couldn't dismiss that, so that's the sense that I mean in headaches. It was constantly, it was always high power, and whenever he felt disrespected, minimized, he would, make up something and want you to move on it. And of course, it didn't go down because I had to do my homework, my work, and resolve it, right? So it came down to, and I don't know, a lot of people that were here, it came down to basically I wasn't checking, I was just ignoring this stuff. It just became so much of it that I even one time I told him like, hey, see, let's take a lap. And I straight told him, look, with all due respect, I understand who your family member is, but you're starting to become a headache here. You either you do things right and just follow program without having to stand out of the crowd, or we're gonna have to take it up, and you take it up with Shy, and everything that has been happening has been sent up and reported. So there's a track there, and he told me, nah, Simon, but because that's the way homeboy talk, right? Simon, and just how those high power vatos talk. But anyways, he said he was gonna mellow it out, but the one thing he wanted me to investigate and take care of was a little homie they call Solo from Quiet Village. Again, his own homeboy. For some reason, I just don't get it, right? But for some reason, it seems to prove a point. Once they're there, they pick on their own, right? At least hood-wise. And I personally had checked Solo's paperwork. We were in 3 blocks together. His paperwork, everything. I ran it. He was telling me something about doing a casita dirty of shies on the streets that Capone was running, right? And that, anyways, that report was up there with shies. And he needed to get dealt with. Now, mind you, at Night Yard, the closest ones I used to kick, circle around were, the homies from Woodyear. So I told him, okay, we're gonna run this. So we ran it, and basically, I'll tell you guys like this. I got a T, and I told him straight up, homeboy been pushing his weight around on the guy's name, and I'm pushing back, but I do understand my limitations when it comes to pushing back gente like this. But I know how to do my service, right? What I mean by service is you can't show weakness. For example, they give you a yard, you're doing a service for a billy. Ain't nobody could take that service from you. Ain't nobody could cause headaches or anything, cause it just goes to show how strong you are to defend that Billy's honor right on the yard or presence. So I told him I needed permission, right? And basically, make long story short, I got the permission from Terco, from Oso, and I double tracked with Raul. He was still alive at this time, right? And I just needed to cover that in. Now, mind you, I always been a hard believer that a camarada should be able to defend his pride to the fullest. That's all we are in the Pinta, right? It's who we are, our palabra. So if anybody offends your pride, bad talks your palabra, calling you a liar or rata, whatever, you should be given the right to man up and deal with it. So I felt it was just right that Homeboy tried to smuck up Solo to give Solo the right to go ahead and deal with Homeboy, right? Because he had to go. Palabra had came back saying, I don't want him taking space on my yard. Later on, Shy could get at me and I'll let him know it came from me. So I gave dibs to Solo, right? I didn't ask him to do it. So look, he was aware of what he was trying to push against him. Against this is his older homie from his neighborhood, right? It's just he lost track of that because he wanted to be a rock star with him, Batos, right? And thought was better. So right away, Solo was a little knucklehead. So right away he said, "Hell yeah, I'll do it." So again, next morning came up. Solo walked out a 3 block while they were releasing 4 block. He snuck in. That's where Homeboy was at. He went up in his cell and he boogied on him. And the reason why I'm even speaking about it is because again, Solo was a good homie. And, Shy got word of this. And wherever Solo ended up going to the shoe, when he got kicked out to the 180, Shy reached out to him just for the simple fact that he touched his family member. When his family member was straight, he was no good himself, right? So he took Solo's career for no apparent reason. He did not do nothing wrong. He was trying to mind his business, do his program, and Homeboy High Power wanted to be in the light like he was doing something and wanted to take his career, and it ricocheted, which should have been left there. But again, you know, Shy is shy. He tries to go on and beyond. But just to give it a closing, it's Shy basically gave Capone a pass. That supposedly what Solo did was just a chicada. It ricocheted. They took Solo's career. Now, what I want to point out on this, just pay attention how Shy put his hands in the fire for his primo. Now, when I went out from Tehachapi shoot to the 180 there on B yard, two of the individuals that were supposed to help me take the yard from Huero for one ugly, right? Was Wolfie and Woody from Quiet Village. They were a little older than me. Exactly how much older, I couldn't really tell you, but they were out there and, you know me, I never forget. I'll be sincere with you guys. When something happens that I'm involved and I know it ain't right, it grabs onto me. So I'm constantly, whenever I could learn more from it, I used to. So I asked them, and what came back was that Capone Bena, he's been having an R on his jacket, and it was known in his town. It is why he was so distant from their own neighborhood. And that Solito never did that. That, as a matter of fact, it was Capone goons from, I believe, were from Norwalk that did that when it came to that material. He was just fooling his own primo. So, once that happened on the 180 and I went back to the shoe, of course, I couldn't leave it alone because in my mind, it was like, I helped this cat by pushing Solo to defend his pride to take Solo's career. So I started striking up on my peels and trying to get to the bottom of this. Nevertheless, that one that came up to bat was Peanut Butter Chino. Once I told him everything and what has happened, and it's when Smokey from B&E was pushing that there shouldn't be no more passes for trash people that have R's. Don't matter who you're related to, it don't matter how much you're paying. So right away, Chino, he threw that on my peel out there that, Capone's jugular should be taken out. And the common thing happened, when they questioned Shy about this. I don't know his doings. He has never okayed nothing for me. Everything he did was on his own. What about the R? I had never known nothing about that. He washed his hands. But see, when it comes to Shy, all he cares is to actually outshine other carnales. Which on my next story, I'm gonna put a continuation of what I'm talking about right now. But for this, I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys continue on with your day. I send my love. Right now, right here is 4 in the morning. I just had a terrible night, couldn't sleep, so I thought I would just get on here and continue to spam my message. I hope it makes sense because, well, we don't need to go there anymore, but I send my love to everybody. I hope, again, everybody has a blessed day. Please stay true to yourself and loyal to your loved ones.